of today's stream is love advice. So it's kind of like open-ended, ask me anything, but also I will just yap in general about my thoughts and bounce things off of you guys. Just in case. I feel like some of you guys might not know like what to ask per se. That's how I feel usually. Like I feel like people tend to ask the wrong questions or start in the wrong direction. So we have to go with the basics sort of. This is a open call. You can use the Q&A if you would like to submit any questions or just like, you know, in general. And then again on Twitch you can just message it. Okay, here's the first red flag we're gonna talk about. Girls that only want your money, but but I don't know. I think that will only happen if guys only value themselves for money. And the first thing you need to do is value yourselves. Otherwise, other people are not going to value you. Which, well, not like 100%, right? You can still be lovable even if you don't think you are worthy of love. However, people have less chances of, you know, finding out what are your good traits if you don't like know that about yourself, if you're not proud of it, if you don't showcase it. So girls don't only want money, but if you only think girls only want money, you're gonna only show off your money, and then it causes a loop where you only attract girls that only want money. Do you see what I'm saying? Right? The first thing is to go into a mindset of trying to find a girl that values you for what you find valuable about yourself. And if you find that aspect of yourself valuable, you're going to end up wanting to showcase it more. You're going to want to try and, you know, use it as like a tool to attract others, right? That's no problem. I don't have money. Okay, then that's true. But there is a saying that you should always go for somebody that's a hard worker, not just rich, because you know money doesn't last forever. But hard work and a good ethic and discipline lasts forever. They can come into money later. Broke is a mindset, not financial situation. That's not true. That's not true. Like there are definitely people that haven't been born with a like, you know, silver spoon. But what people want to see is that you're working to overcome it, right? You have a game plan. You're not just like sitting down and accepting that as your fate. You are working towards like securing a better future for yourself. Because if somebody wants to be part of your future, they want to know that you're going to invest in them as well. That you will care enough to like take care of them and like put just as much effort as they want to be putting effort in as well. It's okay. I'll replay it.
The orb says, ask again later.
I'm worried I'll waste my time meeting normies at this event. The chance of meeting a fellow weeb is under 1%. I would say speed dating events at like, yeah, like specifically surrounding either like people who are into games or people who are into like, you know, anime is a better bet. The way I see it is you want to find your people. And if your people like are the type to hang out at that sort of venue, then you have a higher chance of meeting them, right? But then again, there's always going to be one or two people that are willing to go outside of their comfort zone. So never say never or anything like that. It's just a little bit less likely, right? It's just like you don't want to go to a place where clearly if you go to a bar, their interest is like going to bars and their interest is like drinking. And if you start talking to them about your hyper interest in like World of Warcraft, you can see the light draining from their face. It might not be your scene, right? It just might not be the right scene. You need to ask yourself like, are you looking for just anyone, or are you really looking for like the one, right? And what does the one look like for you? Is this somebody that shares your interests? Or maybe your interest is both like weeby things and going to bars. Well, that's fine. There is actually some like... I think there's a couple of like... There's like Lord of the Ring themed bars or something like... There's some like geeky themed bars. Oh, there's like a video game bar somewhere as well. So like those places also exist, right? There's people out that still want to like meet others. So never say never. But I wouldn't like pin your hopes and efforts in the wrong places is all. If you mentioned fishing in the right place. What if I don't know what kind of fish I'm looking for? That is the first thing you should look for. The first thing you should stop before you look for any relationship is to ask yourself what you're trying to get out of a relationship, right? Otherwise, you won't even know that you found what you're looking for if you like can't narrow it down. I think the most important things would probably be looking for somebody that is looking for like the same lifestyle that you eventually want to have, right? That's pretty important. You want to know that you guys are going to go through life towards the same goals and at the same pace. For example, as long as you're okay with someone else like going for different goals, but they want the same lifestyle in the end as you, that is fine, right? Like if you find somebody that's very career oriented, but you're not really career oriented, but you overall you still want a stable life where you like share everything, you like spend time together, you make sure to like spend, I don't know, holidays together, or you want to put money towards like a house, if you want kids or not, like if you think like a few trips around the like for vacations is good, like that is more important than like what you're currently doing. Fashion is pretty important in my opinion. I don't think you need to be fashionable, but I do think you need to be coordinated. And I think most people like undervalue that because they think fashion is some hopelessly complicated foreign subject to them that like is impenetrable. And I promise you, it's easier to get into than One Piece. It's easier to make sense of than Kingdom Hearts. You just have to start with the basics. Dressing well is pretty important because the first thing you see, the first impression you get of somebody is how neatly they dress, right? If they're a slob, then that shows they don't care about their appearance. That's gonna reflect on how much care they put up on the rest of their body. And like you see somebody that looks like a slob, like, oh, maybe they don't take care of their health either. Maybe they don't pay, like, maybe they're not very detail oriented about other parts of their life, right? Whether they're conscious of this or not, they're going to make that judgment. That's why you at least want the bare minimum of looking neat. You want to like give that impression that you care and that you like put forth effort into the small details about yourself because you respect yourself and you respect other people. First of all, girls are not just looking for like the hottest guy. Girls are looking for guys that know how to groom themselves. So get a haircut and a trim that suits your face. You probably go to like a lot of guys just like pay like $10 to get like get a trim haircut, right? Actually go for a consultation. Actually go for a stylist that knows a thing or two about styling hair for your face shape. It makes such a big difference, right? Hair changes how someone looks so drastically. You like don't understand until you see someone bald, right? You see the same girl and like her hair is pushed back and like uncombed and stuff. That makes a huge difference compared to when she has actually styled it. Why do you think we spend so much time on it? We know the power of it. Okay, I don't know if you like care about makeup, but whether you care or not, it makes a huge difference. right? You don't understand how much of your impression is influenced when you see somebody and they have like makeup going on. Like they take it all off, they kind of just look like a different person sometimes. And that's not wrong. It's just being able to use things to their advantage. So you should use what's available to you as well. Okay, like personally speaking, I think girls care about someone that has a really nice smile. And how do you have a nice smile, you ask? I personally think it's somebody who is able to smile without feeling too self-conscious. If you end up really self-conscious, you smile very awkwardly. But if you're just somebody that's really just like comfortable with themselves, really like living in the moment, it's just gonna come out naturally. And that happiness is going to be infectious, right? And like that confidence just shows in your body language. So that's how you can be attractive. You have this confidence that isn't like faked. You have this like way of carrying yourself that you just feel very comfortable in your own skin. If you're going to be like nervous, then they're going to end up feeding off of that negative energy you're giving off. And that will subconsciously make them more uncomfortable, right? So somebody that is like very just like at peace with themselves is going to show it on their face. And that's going to make them seem like a more approachable, likable person, regardless of any physical traits. There's just people that seem more charismatic in general. I don't think they're necessarily the most handsome people, right? There's like a bunch of actors that like are not objectively that amazing looking, but they're just like known to be such great people that like, despite having slightly, you know, I think some of them have really weird faces, if anything. But like, they've just like owned it, you know? And people are attracted to that confidence. And people like that, like positivity. My resting bitch face will be the end of me. No, it's okay, guy. Girls also like cool guys. But I think if you're somewhat expressive, if you're not afraid to like show your emotions, if you're going to be very guarded, I just think you're gonna end up making other people feel kind of comfortable too, right? But if you're kind of emotive, then people will just relax around you. You know, you're not afraid to like show what you're thinking. You're not afraid to like what you like and have a good humor in expressing it. Then people are just gonna be relaxed and they feel like they can share with you like their emotions as well. Keanu is beautiful and you can't tell me otherwise. You know what? He is. He's one of a kind. His face is so distinctive. Start with a head nod? Why? What like this? Why? I guess. It's never wrong, perhaps. Being emotive to the point of being unhinged. Okay, don't do that either. If you're feeling unhinged or come off unhinged, that just means you're not comfortable to begin with. You're overcompensating, right? I mean, it's okay to feel a little nervous. It's okay to feel like, you know, like put on the spot at some situations. But overall being comfortable with like knowing yourself, knowing what you like, being able to share that about yourself, like that's already like a step above. I smile too much? I don't think that's a bad thing. Unless you're smiling like a lunatic over like a sad thing. I don't think being a smiley person is bad at all. How do you become unhinged? When I have too much caffeine? No. I think some people do come off unhinged if they like start talking too loudly, right? Or too quickly. It's usually because they're covering up their own nervousness. and get more comfortable just like making new friends in general. I mean, start with making guy friends. If that's like if that's a good way to just get in the right routine of talking to people and meeting people. I think because you're approaching this as oh, I'm going to try and get a girlfriend. That's where like the nervousness comes from. Right? But you don't need to start with that. You shouldn't meet people with that goal in mind to begin with. You should just try and become friends with them and find like interesting people you want to hang out with. Make sure the bar is something achievable for you. Otherwise, you're never gonna start even. Like, you want to have a life that invites meeting new people. If your goal is to meet new people, right? Otherwise, it just won't happen out of the blue, really. I need to try and get more people talking to people. Exactly. You need, in general, I think not enough people have a practice socializing, right? Socializing is its own skill. It's very difficult. If you are so used to being by yourself, you're not going to be like on the lookout for certain things that like you're gonna be a little rusty, you know? You're gonna forget like how to have like a good conversation. You have to like get used to there being somebody else to respond to, somebody else to like think about, balancing a whole conversation, different interests in a group setting. We're just doing activities together. Eye contact too, yes. In my city, nobody talks to strangers. That's why you have to be in a setting where people actually do talk to strangers. If you're literally like in a class for something, right? Where you're forced to talk to somebody, that's already a good start. If you are at an event where the whole point is to talk to people, you are not gonna stand out and look strange for trying to initiate conversation there. If you start talking to someone at a bus stop, then yes, they're going to avoid you because they're like, oh dang. Please leave me alone, sir. That's weird. I struggle to expand my social circle outside of my interests. Like, I meet people at card shops, but I feel like nobody wants to hang out outside of that. That is true. I think, yeah, some people, at the end of the day, some people only want to hang out at that kind of venue. And that's because their end game isn't necessarily to meet new people. Their end game in that case is probably just to have fun occasionally at a card shop, right? I don't think it's gonna always succeed. But there's definitely still going to be people that also have interest in like making that relationship expand more than just like a one-off or occasional thing. It just kind of depends on whether or not like you really hit it off though. So it's just, again, a lot of it is just being lucky. Right time, right place, right person that you met that happens to vibe with you. You know, you want to go in with an open mind. You want to try lots of different things. You want to give it a go. I think you're going to regret the things you don't do more than the things you do, right? It's like kind of a scientific thing that most people regret the opportunities they never took. Because if you took something and you tried and it didn't work out, at least you tried. You now have that knowledge. You gain something out of it because you also get experience, right? Maybe you can approach it better next time. But if you just, if you just like avoided it entirely, you're never gonna know, and that's just gonna eat at you. So try not to make those decisions that will leave you regretting it. Even if it's like a few experiences, it's still valuable. Language classes. Oh yeah, I think language classes would be interesting. Because then you have to have more conversations. Let's practice. I mean, the first few interactions are always going to be a little weird. Because people are nervous. People always seem different in their first impression. It takes a couple of different meetings before you get to like really know like the real person. Is it okay to make observations on a woman's appearance? Oh, okay. Not if you look hot, more like earrings? Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Complimenting what is changeable is better than complimenting what is not changeable. Complimenting something that isn't awkward that might make them excited to talk about. Like their clothing, their hairstyle, some other choice. You'd say like, oh my god, you have beautiful eyes. Or like the woman's just gonna be like, oh. But if I'm boring online in IRL, then that's your first task. How to unboringify yourself. No, just really, just like, honestly, if you are not very objective, sit down with a friend, sit down with several friends, ask them what they think is your most distinctive few traits, and ask them what are your best qualities and your worst qualities, right? Get a lot of different opinions, and maybe get their opinions on what they think is like an underrated skill of yours. What could like make you shine if you polished it a little bit more? What makes you like attractive as a friend to them? That is going to make you attractive as a person in general to more people, right? And if you're aware of it, you can utilize it. It's a tool. Dating apps will give you some skills when it comes to dating. Teaches you your weaknesses. Weaknesses? I don't know. What are your weaknesses? I feel like most people have the same weaknesses though. Generally speaking, people's weaknesses are usually they're not able to communicate or socialize in the same way that the other person feels comfortable with, and maybe they are not very good at reading the mood. Like sometimes the only other thing to think of, sometimes you talk too much about yourself, sometimes you don't talk enough about yourself. And you like don't know the right thing to say. But usually isn't that just the weakness, just communication in general? I think you socialize and practice socializing better in real life. You can get really good at typing it out, but like, do you ever have that problem where you like mispronounce words because you only read those words and you never like said it in real life or heard it? Like I do all the time, right? It's the same thing. You're used to typing it out. You sound great when you have some time to like proofread your words, but can you get it out in the moment? Like can you make that comeback in real time? That's what you need practice on. But 90% of your time with that other person is going to be spent actually speaking, not just typing. You should practice what actually matters. How to reject a girl gently. Ooh, okay, that one's good. I feel like there's not a good way to necessarily reject a girl gently, but I personally don't think you should lie. I think the number one thing people do wrong in rejections is lie. And I'm gonna just be honest with you guys. I know people don't like hearing this, but I 100% think girls who say that they're just not in a right place for a relationship right now is just lying. I think you confessed too fast and they didn't have interest, and that's just the nicest thing girls say to you, that they're just not in the right place for a relationship, unless they literally just broke up with someone, or their like family member died, or their dog died, they don't have a job, I don't know, some like major emergency is going on in their life. I think if you're the right person, a girl will find a way. And same for you, right? Even no matter how busy you are, if you have the emotional capacity and interest to like someone else, then you will still want to keep that relationship. You have like that spark, you have that interest. Sometimes it's not the right time, but even so, you would still want to like keep that channel open, so to speak. Okay, so yeah, definitely not lying. I think something very gentle would be something like, I appreciate your feelings for you. Your feelings for me. But I'm not interested. I don't feel the same way. I just don't think we have the kind of like chemistry. I just don't feel like the same vibes, you know? Both of my relationships ended with my ex ghosting me for 2 months. What do I do to avoid that in the future? Stop getting ghosted on, dummy. No. There's gotta be a reason why they're ghosting, no? And also, you should not let ghosting last 2 months. If ghosting has lasted 3 weeks and there's no legitimate reason for it, cut them off. Don't make this like the behavior seem acceptable, okay? Again, as long as they have a legitimate reason, but also like, you know, the thing I said, if you send them a meme, send them a couple of memes and they're still not responding, it's so over. Like, people have time to respond to a meme or two, okay? And if they really care about you, they probably would send you a meme back. You know? But just make sure it's a good meme, okay? Not like the generic ones, you know? What if it's been 9 weeks? They're not ghosting you anymore. Like, they've like moved. They've like moved countries. They're living a new life now. They have a new identity. For all you know, they've died. They've walked off the face of the earth. Like, you still think about that? And then, chat, people will like you more if you carry around 10 GlitchStars bulk boxes. This is so true. You want that Riz? You better be, you know, you better be buying the mega pack. You better be showing off this. You better have a GlitchStars ringtones and morning alarms. That will definitely get the girls. You should have all of your alarms just be Miwa beep 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 wake up. Or you should have my ringtone where I sing Valentine Kiss to you. Very cute. And like, honestly, if somebody asks where it's from, just be like, oh, it's just an idol I like. It's a idol. It's a singer. By the way, do you know anything about VTubers? I bought 50 bulk boxes. True. Okay, you show up to your locals. You show up to your card store with our bulk box. What a conversation starter. It's so cool. They're gonna be like, oh my god, girls like TCG? And you're like, yeah. 4 whole girls like TCG. And they stream for you almost every single day. Wow. You can talk to us about all of the brain rot Yu-Gi-Oh! Or insert other things here. Pokemon TCG. And insert other etc. games they like here. So cool. Yeah.